simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle. And nothing can stop what is coming. And it's going to be glorious. What a big day we had today. What a big week. What is to come? We shall see. We got a lot of cages got rattled. A lot of cages. A lot of people aren't sleeping good. How many birds you think sang to get to this point? How many are singing now or going to be singing? Oh my goodness. Subpoenas flying in Georgia. Oh, so much is going on. And finally we can say that the walls are closing in, but not on who they want. They didn't even have any walls. But anyway, folks, what do? I play videos while people come in and get themselves a nice cup of coffee or a cold brouhaha, an adult beverage, whatever it is you want. And then what will we do? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll be like butter and get on a roll.
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. Or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina. The puppet who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the President of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the President of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
You want to play this? Okay. Come on. Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like.
Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're here. What a day. A lot of big shots and big kahunas got their cages rattled in part of the DMV. What is the DMV? Everybody should know. Once again, Donald Trump said they cleaned out every bank in D.C., Virginia, and Maryland to send money over to the atomic mullahs. DMV is D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Virginia got its cage rattled today big time. Hi, Todd. How you doing? I wonder why. Tammy, nice to see you. Robin. Wayne's here. Give me thumbs up. Cole's here. Rebecca's here. Sweet Daydreams, nice to see you. If I miss anybody, you know it's because I don't mean to. Hi, Randy, nice to see you. Who else is coming in? Boy, we got a lot to talk about today. Oh, there's so many people losing sleep. Isn't that right, Brett? Pappy Two Bears. All right, nice to see you. Elvis here. Flannel Cheese is here. Everybody's rolling in there. Be like butter and get on a roll. So, yeah, I want to thank Pappy Two Bears for going by me a coffee. I had a bomb set up. Boom, and Younger Gang. Boom, and Shannon for my last broadcast, and everybody else who helped this week on Buy Me a Coffee. Mike and Bev. Robin, Wayne. Yeah, Wayne's in there. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you all give me thumbs up. Rolling. And Miss Bender, sir, she gave me a Moab. God, she gets, I get these quick bombs lined up for that. I need to get a Moab for a kaboom. So, yeah, how about that? So anyway, there's Miss Mendersu. Nice to see you. I was just talking about you. But anyway, oh, it felt so good. I tell you what, Ketanji Brown Jackson got her rear end kicked by Alito. I mean, not really, but I tell you what, it let everybody know that her games are over. She made an idiot of that the left is trying to twist. We've got, what's her name? J. Powell Kaputihidi or whatever her name is, Shovelface, admitting she trying to help Cuba get oil. You know what? If you got caught with Cuban cigars, even now, Cuban cigars get in big trouble, a federal offense. I heard they're good. just through the grapevine. But since the 60s, you couldn't get a Cuban cigar. Most people couldn't get a Cuban cigar. But anyway, and she said, "Oh, I was trying to help. I'm trying to help her. I'll play a video of her, the dopey, treasonous nitwit. Hi, Nicey, how are you?" And we got to quit fooling around with these people. We got to quit fooling around. Like I said, we need a American CCOT, okay, and 2%, like Trump said, 2% of the screwballs cause 95% of the crimes. Do the math, man. We got to put them somewhere. So we'll get a American CCOT going. But anyway, let's see this dizzy woman right here. Should I play this video first, or let me see, or should I show the milk carton? Well, I'll go ahead. Let's see. This Fox video might be the alert. Alert! You'll hear. I think this is the right one. They raided 10 places. Where? Portsmouth, Virginia. It's down there. It's in a deep blue area in Virginia where the ports are, and that's why they call it Portsmouth. But anyway, 10 locations is what was reported. What's known? How much you want to bet it's more than that? But anyway, let me play it, and then we'll talk about it. If this is the right clip, I don't know. Let's see.
Now, a very influential Democrat from Virginia, State Senator Luis Lucas, is at the center of a major FBI corruption investigation. Right now, in fact, agents are executing search warrants across the Commonwealth, including her office. Alex Hogan is in Portsmouth, Virginia. Alex.
Hi, Harris. So the FBI here telling us today that these are court-authorized criminal search warrants that they are issuing. They're going into the building behind me. This is the office here in Portsmouth of State Senator Luis Lucas. You can likely see some of the FBI agents behind me. All of the staffers inside this building were told to come outside. I could hear them saying that they were not allowed back in the building. Throughout the last hour, we've been seeing the FBI come and go carrying boxes out of the building. Now, just across the parking lot next to where I am, there is a cannabis dispensary. We know that the state senator is associated with several cannabis locations and dispensaries, and what we're seeing there, a completely different scene carrying out. SWAT teams arrived with their weapons drawn, telling anyone in the building to come out of the building with their hands up. We also saw at least 3 people being taken away, taken into custody. First, they were put in handcuffs, put on the ground, and then they were taken away. So it's a slightly less large presence than we did see earlier, but there still is a good amount of FBI agents still here on the ground. Also, what happened within the last hour, the Senator Lucas arrived here herself. I was able to speak with her. I asked her what her reaction was to all of this. She told me she had no idea what they were doing here. I asked her about the different locations that they might be. She, in response, asked me what locations the FBI were at today. We know at least 10 locations are being looked at today.
Alex, great job.
Reporter, she said, I don't know how many of you have you heard about it? And the reporter said, well, 10 of them. And, it could be more. Could be more. So, oh, yeah. They're trying to put up a brave face, though. A brave. Here's this Spanberger. Like I said, she popped up out of the ground. Didn't I say it? Didn't I say it months ago? There's something rotten in Denmark. You just don't have some nobody, nothing like this pop out of the ground and win or after a popular Republican governor, and then these people go in there and wreak havoc. There's something rotten in Denmark, and there sure was. But anyway, here's her response to the raids today.
I want to talk to you about what's happening a few hours away. Senator Luis Lucas's home, our office rather, was raided by the FBI. At this point, do you stand by the senator, or are you concerned? Because our sources are telling us this is about bribery and corruption.
Well, certainly I am aware of the law enforcement action that occurred in Portsmouth, and I am awaiting more details to become public before weighing in with any strong public comment. And as more information becomes available, I look forward to making further comments.
Yeah, is that just her usual haggard look, or do you think that person is stressed out? Let me tell you, what did I say about the cartels and Long Green? Long Green. And simultaneous with this, there were raids in MacArthur Park, L.A. We'll get to that. Well, wait a minute. I might have some. Remember, MacArthur Park was when they did a practice run with ICE, and Karen Bass went crazy and came out there and demanded everybody leave. Remember that? And Tom Homan saying, well, everybody knows if you want a fake driver's license, a forged passport, or if you want to buy any hoochie coochie, whatever no sugar or whatever you want, everybody knows you go to MacArthur Park. Well, they got raided today too. Let me see if this is the right one from Citizen Free Press. Yeah, breaking 300 federal and local agents doing a raid at LA's historic MacArthur Park. I'm talking simultaneous with this mafia bunch in Portsmouth and all around Virginia. On both coasts, where open drug use and fentanyl fold, whatever the hell that is, can be seen on any given day. Multi-month undercover operation. DEA tells me the Sinaloa cartel, Long Green, brings the fentanyl and the meth into the area controlled by the 18th Street Gang, a rival of MS-13. 19 kilos of fentanyl valued at $8 to $10 million already seized in one house raid. One house raid this morning. Just a few hours ago in the park, I witnessed a young man do the fentanyl fold and hit the ground, go unconscious, OD, and be left with Narcan. So that must be what this little clip is that goes along with it. We'll find out what the fentanyl fold is. I guess somebody walk around like a, I don't know, mummy or something. I don't know.
Atención, somos la DEA, Administración para el Control de Drogas.
Well, it's pretty close to what they were doing in Portsmouth. They had their guns drawn. They had SWAT vehicles. They made people lay on the ground, put handcuffs on them. All these people running around with their nose stuck up in the air because they're in control of the government. People you wouldn't want in control of mowing your yard, knowing what's in your garage. We're running your government. Here she is, babe. So you know what she looks like. Very attractive. And look at this little behind kisser, okay? Little soy boy. And this was before the raid. How confident they are and how powerful they think they are.
I have the pleasure of following you on Twitter, and for everybody who's watching and listening right now, if you do not follow Senator Lucas on Twitter, I could not recommend a better follower, a better follow. I told this to you when we were first logging on off camera, but there is no bigger badass than you, and I mean that in the nicest way humanly possible. It is exactly the fight mentality that I wish so many Democrats imbued here.
What's good for the goose is not good for the gander. Well, that's not the way it is from where I came. I am a product of the civil rights movement, and even though I may not get physical, I am going to fight back.
She's going to fight black. She's a product of the civil rights movement. I guarantee you she didn't crack one of those books behind her. But anyway, she's at least putting up a front that she's not bothered. She's not bothered. I'll get to her dopey post in a minute. But let me see. Where is it? Oh, ha, ha, ha. By the way, ICE is renamed. Here we go. Hey, Mom, I got a job at NICE. Oh, that's so nice, son. National Immigration and Customs Enforcement. There you go. Donald Trump put that up there. Ha, ha, ha. So that's what it is now. The news agencies are going to have to call it NICE. Here's another one that Donald Trump put up. So nice. The White House put it up. Okay, the White House. They put the eyeballs. Looky, looky. Ha, ha, ha. That's the patches they'll be wearing while they're doing their nice job. National Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Ha, ha, ha. They want to play word games. We'll play them, baby. Because we got things better. And by the way, folks, this one really burns them up. The thug, Hakeem Jeffries. White House put out a happy Cinco de Mayo to all who celebrate. There you go. I love illegal immigrants. Don't they love them? Wait a minute. Let me get that centered up there in case you want to put it on your meta page. There you go. And, yeah, we even got a video. What's that woman that banged her husband over the head with a coffee pot? Or is that what she did? Or threw coffee on him or something? Katie Porter. She but admits, well, you know, we get a lot of voters from illegal immigrants. They make up a big part of our community. These people are crazy. So here's the one that really burns them up. Trump War Room put it up. Trump put this out, what, 4 or 5 years ago? Ha, ha, ha. Where he's giving a thumbs up over Taco. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And they tried to say that all kinds of bad stuff, that Trump was mocking Mexicans and stuff. You know, no, he won the Latino vote big, and he's going to keep on winning it. The ones who are here and appreciate this country and want to be American, okay? And they want to keep the trash out because they know what the trash is. They know what the trash is. Hi, Todd. Let's see. Oh, I said hi. Who'd I miss? Felix is here. Hi. No, I caught somebody else on my eye that looked. Greg, Mr. Kibler. I locked them all up. Time to fight fire, and with fire, we can't allow this to go on. Roland's here. How you doing? So, yeah, and good news that Rudy Giuliani rallied. He is off the respirator and out of ICU, intensive care unit, which is wonderful. It's a big deal that he made it through the being intubated. You know, it was a 50-50 chance back in the day. I don't know what it is now, but once they intubate you, you're at a disadvantage. And they had reported that priests gave last rites before Rudy Giuliani rallied, and doctors removed the ventilator. So, yeah. Millions of people pulling for him. He's a tough old bird, and we want him to be able to see justice be dispensed. Oh, I guarantee you. He's probably sitting up and reading papers and looking at, the raids, isn't that so great? That'll really perk him up, don't you think? It would perk me up. And of course, we're waiting for the lunatics from Georgia. The lunatics from Georgia to get their medicine, right? And that's coming. That's coming. Here it is. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Georgia. Judge won't order DOJ to return seized 2020 ballots to Fulton County. They're saying, we should get these ballots back. It's a criminal investigation, you nitwits. It's Norm Eisen and Abby Lowell. Remember those names. Norm Eisen and Abby Lowell. They're experts. Experts in what? Lawfare, election shenanigans, advising on the cases with Trump, stuff like that. People who, in my opinion, should not have law degrees. But anyway, they got a subpoena in Georgia. They think this is bad. They think, of course, they're going to keep on peeling it, and then they're going to get told to stuff it too. Names of everybody who handled ballots, all the poll workers, all the flunkies and busy little bees, like Ruby, and then her last name is Freeman. Anyway, and her dopey daughter, all of 3,000. And of course, Norm Eisen. Like, this is just not done. This is just not done. This is, you're treating us like criminals. That's because that's a suspicion. And that's what grand juries are for, you nitwits. They know better. They're not nitwits. They're crafty, B-A-S-T-A-R-Ds, right? I use my French, my Spanish. Bastardos, right? Anyway, here she is, Miss Smart Aleck. JB put up, where the hell is Louise Lucas? And he put him missing. Last seen, Victory Boulevard, Portsmouth, Virginia, April 21st. Really? Is that true? That's been a hot minute, Louise. She posted, I was out partying my AWS off all weekend long. Where the hell were you? Yeah, well, maybe she's the bird that's singing, right? Who knows? Who knows? Because she might have got sat down, right? She might have got sat down. You like this room? This is about the size of the one you're going to spend the rest of your life in if you don't talk right. Don't think that don't happen. And all that tough talk will go right in the trash pail. But anyway, people were quick to point out, here she is. Donald Trump just learned no one is above the law. Well, what did you just learn, Louise? I need to get a clip from the Jeffersons. Wheezy! George Jefferson hollering at Wheezy. What's going on here? So anyway, nobody's sleeping good. Nobody's sleeping good. Even this little interview here with Kash Patel, Sean Hannity, Hillary. You know, people say, oh, Statue of Liberty. Oh, you're still worried about those emails. Yeah. When you're talking about highly classified information, when you're talking about treason, when you're talking about an ongoing conspiracy, the statute of limitations just keeps renewing. And anyway, Sean asked him about it right out the gate.
They didn't go this deep in the weeds as we did. So we can start with Hillary Clinton, top secret classified information on her servers, which, by the way, I keep hearing rumors, maybe you can confirm this, that information may still exist and we may have a copy. Any truth to that?
We're working on a lot of things.
You're smiling. I don't know. I like that smile. The smile is very revealing, Kash. All right. We'll save that for a different show.
Nothing can stop what's coming, and it's going to be glorious. He wasn't just smiling. He was giggling. He was giggling. He know he got something going. There's something going on. So We'll see what it is, what happens with it all. I got different clips. I'm not sure which one's attached to which one, but we'll just go through them all. Here's this, what's her name? Jayapal Pripit, whatever. Here it is. Here's one article on her. Look at her. She's got her goofy little sundress on. Squad Dem admits to helping communist Cuba behind America's back. That's a no-no. Hell, you had Maxine Waters and a whole bunch of them go down there about 10 years ago, kissing up to Fidel himself. But anyway, no, she's trying to give material assistance. Material assistance. Publicly disclosed on Wednesday that she has been directly communicating with ambassadors from Mexico and other Latin American countries to explore ways of delivering oil. Let's see, I got a couple of clips. Let me see what this one is. Here she's got that same dress on. Pramila, she's the one that kept asking, like with Amy Coney Barrett, S3 actual questions. Remember that? Weird stuff.
In January, Trump issued an executive order threatening tariffs on any country supplying fuel to Cuba. This was this January, just a few months ago. And oil shipments from Venezuela, that's where Cuba had been getting its oil, were halted after the U.S. operations to kidnap Nicolas Maduro. Since January, only one Russian tanker of oil has made it to Cuba. In fact, it landed just a couple of days before I landed. And one tanker has enough oil basically for 10 to 14 days of Cuba's oil needs. So it's a very limited amount of time. Now, Russia has said they're going to send another tanker. I was in conversations with the ambassadors from Mexico and some other places, and I know other countries in Latin America are trying to figure out how to get oil there. But it is a crisis beyond imagination. Just this past Friday, on May 1st, Trump signed a broad executive order that widens sanctions to what we have for Iran and Russia against foreign banks and firms that are dealing with Cuba, and it also reinforces the ban on U.S. tourism. I have called these sanctions an economic bombing of the infrastructure of Cuba. It is illegal. It is against the war. We've been talking about this in Iran, obviously, to bomb the infrastructure of any country. That is against international law. This is essentially doing the same thing. It is bombing the infrastructure of Cuba with economic sanctions that essentially ensure that the infrastructure collapses.
I know it ain't going to happen, but two marshals come out and get her by her elbows right then and there and drag her off. Okay? No bail. You're a flight risk. You're inciting. You go to Leavenworth. Go to Leavenworth and sit till we get this figured out. Maybe not U.S. Marshals to have a couple of Marines come get her. So I know it's not going to happen. But anyway, Trump's just letting them make them asses of themselves and moving along. Who's it? Who is this? Let me see. Who's this creeper? Is this Ilan Omar? Is this Ilan? No, this is someone else. With the burqa on. I don't know. I got to put my headphones on. I'll try to hear it. See what she's talking about.
Now imagine your LinkedIn profile says, I hate all Zionists. Replace hate with whatever inappropriate, something I can't say here. Not strategic, right? Like not strategic. Now you may say that sitting around Kahwa House on a Friday night, but you're not going to say it on your LinkedIn. And so one, we have to do the basics. We have to remember that Allah protects us. And then strategic versus reckless. And this is a ongoing process.
Yes, bashing Israel and Jewish people. Don't say that out loud. It's not strategic. We got to be smart. We got to remember this is an ongoing process. Another one. Deport. If they're naturalized, no, you're violating the oaths you took. Both of them, her and Jay Powell, what's her face? They don't know what's in the Constitution, and they don't want to know. They don't want to know, but they swore to uphold it, to be in this country. So get rid of them. And that meta page right here. Salty Goat put it up. Never forget this. All shot by a Democrat. These people are vicious, okay? They normalize violence. And they do what's strategic. You can just keep it to yourself that we got to get all the Jews. But don't say it out loud because it's not strategic. This is an ongoing project. Along with Christians, along with anybody else that they don't agree with, they want to get rid of. Which is quite a lot of people, by the way. Speaking of which, have you all put some thought into what will they have on Comey besides the seashells? Lying is a shield of faith. And as Mac, primarily, isn't that Shia? The Sunni, I don't go for that as much, but maybe some do. But it's mostly Shia. That's why it's so hard to nail down a deal with these people in Iran, because they're all Shia and they have a goal. They have a homicidal goal, okay? And you can't have homicidal maniacs in charge of a nuclear weapon. And speaking of maniacs, here is look how delusional these people are. Occupy Democrats. Didn't I tell you, Midas trash, Occupy Democrats, and now this impact. This character posts this. First of all, his name is Anwar Kaleem Official. Occupy Democrats and Midas trash, they are a sounding board. They are a bullhorn for these foreign interest entities to blast stuff out. What do they put out? I just want to remind everyone that Iran did not have any nuclear weapons and that the Strait of Hormuz was open for business before Trump. What a childish take, but not really. It's evil. It's conniving, okay? What the hell does he know about what Iran had or is getting ready to have? What do you know? And what are you doing posting in our country? Anwar Kaleem Official? I told him, I put in the comments, go play in your own sandbox, Abdul. He's not from this country. What's Occupy Democrats giving them a bullhorn for? And if he is from this country, if he is a nationalized citizen, he's spreading propaganda and falsehoods. Pack up your sandals and hit the road. So somebody put up another one, and I responded. You know, I lose my temper a little bit, but I can't get myself in trouble, right? So I got to kind of temper my words. But hey, I still got to tell it like it is. What else did they put up? Some stupid slur or half-truth or I'm trying to find it. Oh, it was about the new guy that I showed you where they introduced these guys. Now on Midas Touch Network, so-and-so is getting near 1 million subscribers. And how's that happening? How is that happening? They just pop up out of the ground and got 500,000, 600,000, almost 1 million subscribers. Nobody knows who the hell they are. Well, let me find the post he put up. Lion Sacco, you know what, right? Something about the ballroom, right? I'll check the chats in a minute to see what you all think Comey is going to be in trouble for. Besides the seashells. Where in the world? Yeah, I'm going to go over Ted Turner popping a cork. He's gone. So Trump put out some kind words about him. So did Maria Bartiromo. We'll get into that. But, well, anyway, I'll find it. When I find it, I'll put it up. But this guy puts up, I put up something to the effect of, all he did was tear down Obama's ghetto basketball court, which also had a secure facility beneath it. And Trump is working at peace and not giving billions to wild-eyed mullahs. But this person put, I still can't believe Trump got away with tearing down 1/3 of the White House. That's another typical lie. Trump didn't tear down 1/3 of the White House. Obama tore down the East Wing to put up his basketball court. So anyway, I said what I said, and this guy responds, my man too, tell me what Trump has done that's peaceful when children are being abused in huge numbers. Oh, here's another lefty that could have gave a rat's behind about kids and Epstein for years and years and years, but they think they can get Trump on it. Then all of a sudden they care. Oh, you got kids going to school and deranged individuals psychologically abusing them, trying to talk them into changing their genitalia. And you didn't say a peep about that. But anyway, by the people in charge of us peasants, no one deserves peace. What is he babbling about? Look how Trump acted when Israel, okay, here he is. Here's starting it. Killed his friend Charlie Kirk. Oh, he showed off his construction of his bunker data center. Obama had a second Oval Office under there, okay? All right? He had his bunker. If you don't know, look into Planeteer and Oracle. Oh, so everybody say, oh, AI is going to spy on us. Trump is going to spy on us like never before. Have you been living in a damn freezer? China's been doing that AI stuff for decades. Facebook, DARPA, okay? These cell phones that are mostly made in China that know how many steps you take, the cadence of your walk, when you sleep, when you get up, can spy on you and gather information and store it forever. They know your credit card numbers. They know everything about you. They even said parts being put in U.S. automobiles that come from China have been spying on us. Your car, your dishwasher, everything that you buy with electronics in it. If we don't pick up the pace and sharpen our pencil, they're going to stay ahead of us. Okay, so he keeps on with his BS. You likely won't support MAGA so loudly when you see what's happening. What a fool. Or maybe you will. Trump loves the poor and uneducated, in his own words. So this guy thinks he's a smarty, right? He's a smart one, right? So I had enough of that. So I said, his name was Jess Jeff. I hope you're tuning in, Jess Jeff. Einstein. Shut the heck up with your TDS prattle. obnoxious slanderers. Keep supporting atomic mullahs, illegals voting, tranny teachers, young people being mutilated. Massive decades-long fraud, and on and on. Trump is the only one exposing and stopping it. The only one. Yet the degenerate Marxist hoaxers fight tooth and nail. A pox and a fie. Look those words up, folks. A pox and a fie upon all of them. And you can go pound sand. Didn't you see his post? Says nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing. And it will be glorious. Cry more. Seethe more. Or wake the heck up. And that was 8 hours ago by now, or 7 hours, and I ain't heard nothing back from the genius. Hi, Brush, how are you? So that's how you straighten them out, folks. Get screenshots of that. Answer them. Don't insult them. Don't use foul language. But you can say, very plump and plain, 4 or 5 things that are catastrophic to a civilization that Trump is putting a stop to, that these people support. And tell people that support the things like that, a pox and a fie upon them. So anyway, speaking of putting a pox and a fie on, I mean dizzy. Name Ketanji Brown Jackson. What a joke. What an embarrassment to the court. Alito slams Jackson. Utterly irresponsible dissent in Supreme Court clash over 2026 map. Of course, it had to be Fox News. I was like, oh, I'll have to go back and listen to Andrew Branca and write down this up for me. I said, oh, good. I don't have to do all that. Groundless and utterly irresponsible. Now, keep in mind, folks, this decision concerning racial districts was made over a half a year ago, 7 months before the release of the decision. It was drug out. The courts were being manipulated. Was it just Ketanji Brown Jackson, or was it Elena Kagan, who didn't care about her fellow justices being in danger, their lives being in danger because of the Dodd leak that drug it out? But who the hell takes over a half a year to write a dissent? Nobody. And then she's the only one that writes one. And it's pages and pages and pages of insults and snide remarks. Nothing based or grounded in law. He unloads on Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's redistricting dispute, calling her arguments baseless and insulting after the Supreme Court decided to fast-track implementation of its recent redistricting ruling ahead of the 2026 midterms. That's right, we can't have elections with illegal districts. We've done that enough. Why the hell do you think we're down there raiding Portsmouth, Virginia? Alito says Jackson's claim about the court abusing power cannot go unanswered, escalating a rare direct clash on the bench. Jackson is accusing the Supreme Court of overreach, marking the latest in a pattern of solo dissents in which the Biden-appointed liberal justice has blasted high-profile majority decisions. Well, if you hadn't drug your feet for 7 months, this has been taken care of a long time ago. And something's going to get taken care of, because that is manipulating the system in, I believe, to be an unlawful manner. And who is the chief law enforcement officer? The chief law enforcement officer, Donald J. Trump. They're going to come up with something to take care of. Is this Laura Ingraham talking about the lunatics in... Marco Rubio had a I'll put Laura Ingraham up in a minute. Marco Rubio had a great press conference. Did y'all get a chance to see? The reason I'm bringing this up, because I think there's messages coming around. And one of the messages he sent out was to pick Catherine Herridge as the first one to ask a question. Called her by her name, okay? We know Catherine Herridge has done stories on Gitmo, okay, the courtrooms and their designs. So let me see if I can make sure I get the right one. Let me see. This one might be it right here. Let me see. I want to make sure I get the right one. Here we go. He calls her out by name. If this ain't the right one, I'm going to cut it off and... No, back row yellow tie. No. He gave her the first one. We'll get to the back row yellow tie in a minute. This is the one right here. It's got subtitles too. Ha ha ha. That's good. That's good. Catherine, dear heart, follow.
Why don't we start with you first?
Hi, Catherine Herridge. I'm an independent journalist. Secretary Rubio, have you seen any recent indications that Iran is willing to give up its nuclear weapons program that is credible, verifiable, and that would lead to an immediate de-escalation?
Well, look, this is a long-standing problem for them, right? I mean, they have wanted, they have. And why do you say, well, how do you know they don't mean it? Well, we don't mean it because they're doing all the things and historically have tried to do all the things that you do if you want a nuclear weapons program. For example, missiles that now in some cases are capable of reaching much of Europe. They build these large underground centrifuges for enrichment activity. But these guys do it in mountains and in caves and in hiding. They've always had secret components of their nuclear program. Highly enriched uranium at 60% that they did so, and that has no civilian use, none, zero whatsoever. So they have an opportunity here to agree to something that will make it clear that they're not interested in. One thing is to say we don't want a nuclear weapon. Another thing is to do the things that prove you don't want a nuclear weapon. By the way, if what Iran wants is a civilian nuclear program for power plants and stuff like that, there are a lot of countries in the world that have that, and they don't enrich. They import the enriched material. You know, they could have that if that's what they wanted, but they're not acting like that's what they wanted. They're acting like they want a military, nuclear program. That's unacceptable. So that's the process we're engaged in now. To create, that's the object of this diplomacy, is to come up with some level of understanding about what are the topics that they've agreed to negotiate on. We don't have to have the actual agreement written out, and one day this is highly complex and highly technical. But we have to have a diplomatic solution that is very clear about the topics that they are willing to negotiate on and the extent and the concessions they're willing to make at the front end in order to make those talks worthwhile. That's what Stephen Jarrett and the whole team is working on, and I hope to have good news on it. That's the outcome we would prefer. That's the outcome we would have preferred a year ago. That's the outcome I think most of us would have preferred a long time ago. But that's not the option they've given us, given their activity.
Yeah, she made a point to say, I'm an independent journalist. Why is she an independent journalist? I'll tell you why. Because CBS fired her and CBS seized all of her personal papers and professional paperwork, all her source material. You remember that? CBS. They're rubbing it in their under their nose that the administration is on a first name basis with Catherine Herridge. And I put in the description at the, 52-minute mark? Ha ha! A link to buy me a coffee cup. Boom! If anybody wants to help support the channel, kaboom! A link in the chats. I keep saying the description on it. And Shannon and Younger Gang. I want to do some bullets. Shannon, Younger Gang, and Pat. And where's my bullets? Man, this thing's going slow. I want to load the screen up with bullets, but I can't. So anyway, I'll do some more air one. Pow, 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 pow. It's going to be glorious. Kaboom. Mike and Bev, as always. Robin, Wayne, hilarious. 2, kapow. Rolling. And Miss Menderson with a Moab earlier in the week. Kapow, kapow, kapow. I appreciate it. So I'll put a QR code up whenever I get a chance. I don't even know where it is in the studio. Hi, Colette, how are you? So, yeah, the first week is going along good. I appreciate everybody's help. So anyway, yeah, Catherine Herridge got a real good boost. And I think it's for a reason he picked her first. Anyway, what is this one about? Marco Rubio on current state of who? Cuba. Cuba. You know, Nick Shirley went to Cuba. I got a post from him. I'll read in a minute. But I saw that going on, and I said, "Oh man!" Remember, I was talking about it myself. I said, "I got one more trip, maybe where I go out in the salty brine on the high seas, and where would I go? Cuba." But not right now. You can catch me down there, man. Next thing I know, Nick Shirley's down there. I said, "Holy cow!" Listen, Cuba. Their intelligence services, I probably said it before, rivals Mossad. Okay? They are lethal, dangerous, and top-notch. Cuba's intelligence services, they operate in countries in Africa, all over Latin America, and have been trained since the 1950s by the KGB and their affiliates. So, yeah. That was a touch-and-go situation. But here's Marco Rubio talking about Cuba.
On Cuba, oil blockade on Cuba. There's no oil blockade on Cuba per se. Here's what's happening with Cuba, okay? Cuba used to get free oil from Venezuela. Used to give them a bunch of free oil. They would take like 60% of that oil and resell it for cash. It wouldn't even go to benefit the people. So the only blockade that's happened is the Cubans have decided. And you can only imagine nowadays, the way oil prices are, no one's giving away free oil, much less to a failed regime. So the problem with Cuba is worse, okay? Their economic model doesn't work. Doesn't work. And the people who are in charge can't fix it. And the reason that I can't fix it is not just because they're communists, that's bad enough, but they're incompetent communists.
They're tightening screws on Cuba. And I tell you what, yeah, it was stupid. It was not smart, I will say, of Nick Shirley to go to Cuba. And they, violent and dangerous as they are, that's the least of it. That's the least of it. The publicity that Nick Shirley's gotten in America, they would have been looking at some big trouble, okay? But still, I am sure there was strong consideration about snatching him up. Snatching him up. And thank God they didn't. Thank God they didn't. And he made it back. So I don't have a pic. I didn't get a picture with that, but anyway, let's keep on rolling here. They let him go, and he was rattled, and I hope he doesn't go there until that country is settled in and secured. And that day will come. That day will come, but it ain't now. I don't even know what this one is here. Let's see what this is. Oh, did you hear about the Obamas? Look at them. Look at them. Don't you know that their marital problems are all Donald Trump's fault? Look at them. The happy couple. Two gay guys. Obama admits to tension in marriage, blames Trump. Former President Barack Obama is opening up about friction at home as he ramps up his public role during President Donald Trump's administration. So he had an interview with the New Yorker, that rag. Hey, what about the chef? Huh? Did he have anything to do with the tensions in your marriage? Barack? Did she catch you guys holding hands or something? Or whatever you do. But anyway. Now, I got 2 clips of Alan Dershowitz. Who is, what's that comedian's name that was in the, oh gosh, Larry, the guy, is he one of the guys that created Seinfeld? Just say, always mad at somebody. What's his name? Larry or whatever. Anyway, I think this is Dershowitz talking about him. Let me know if you know what he's talking about.
I feel like I'm in 1932 Berlin at the standing up against what was going on. Not 1938. I'm not saying 1938, but in 1932, before the election of Hitler as chancellor, the universities were turning against Jews. If there was Israel, they'd have been turning against Israel. And I feel I'm one of the few people who am standing up against my old party. Look, I became a Democrat when I was 14 years old. I used to go with a loudspeaker and campaign for a guy named Philip Schuppler, who was running for assembly on the Democratic ticket. So I've been a Democrat for 70 years. I now am strongly opposed to that party. I want them defeated in every single election. Not everyone. There are a few. There's this Senate congressman from New Jersey. There's a couple of Congress people from other places that I want to see elected. But I want to see the Democrats lose control of the House and lose control of the Senate and lose control of the presidency, because I am scared of them. They are against America. They're against Israel. They're against Jews. And the leading people against the Jews are other Jews. Thank God for Christians and Muslims who support Israel. Israel cannot count on its Jewish population. Many support Israel. Most support Israel. But some of its most vociferous opponents, organizations like Jewish Voice for Peace, which isn't Jewish and doesn't have a voice and is against peace. But, they are leading the campaign against Israel, along with a group like the Neturei Karta, very, very ultra-Orthodox anti-Zionists who support Iran, who want Iran to get a nuclear bomb. These are just self-defeating, self-hating idiots. And I'm going to stand up against them. I'm 87 years old. I don't have the strength I had when I was 47, but I'm going to use every bit of strength I have to oppose the Democrats.
Yeah, that's the second clip where he says the Democrat Party's scaring him. And he's pointing out the fact that the ones that are against Jewish people, most of the times it's other Jewish people. Oh, what are you doing, Roland? Do you need a power inverter? I'll tell you what. I'll talk about it at the end of the show, what you ought to get. Go on eBay. It's called OUPES. OUPES. And it's a 264 watts or something like that. It's got a 600 watt continuous power with 1,000 watt surge. Perfect. Buy one of those, charge them up, and you can use it to back up. I'll talk more about it later. OUP is $89 on sale. $89. But anyway, here he is talking about, you're right, guys. Larry David, thank you, Todd, and everybody else in the chats. Yeah, Tammy knew who I meant. Here he's talking about Larry David. This is, I guess, expounding on the theme that certain people of the community, JEW community, are their own daggone worst enemies, I guess. I don't know. Let's listen to him.
It was a one-sided friend. I mean, he always asked me for things. He never gave me anything. He asked me to help his daughter get into college, which I did. He asked me for a number of other favors, which I did. And, he came to my house and worked out in my gym. He would come over to the house and have dinner all the time. But the minute I defended Donald Trump, he started screaming at me and yelling at me and saying I was despicable and horrible and all of that. And so our one-sided friendship terminated. And but you know, my wife never liked Curb Your Enthusiasm. I did, but I can't watch it anymore because I realized that the curmudgeon character is not a character. It's the real Larry David. So he's a mean, nasty man, and he can't tolerate contact with people who have a different point of view from him politically. So that's not the kind of friend I want to have.
Well, he's got the Rob Reiner mentality. Let his life revolve around this dizzy anger. So I put the name of the item in there, Roland, OUPES, and it's like, I think it's a 300. They have bigger ones, but the cheapest one they had up for $99 and they put it on sale for $89. It's got 2 plugs. You can plug in things in the 110, cigarette lighter, and ways to charge up your phone. But anyway, if you have a solar panel, it plugs right in the back of it, charges right off the sun. Let's talk about Project Freedom. Trump pauses Project Freedom.
Well, this morning, Axios is reporting that a memorandum of understanding could be reached in the next 48 hours that would include 14 points agreed to by both the United States and Iran, among them an enrichment moratorium and also opening eventually the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if this does move forward, it's an indication that progress is being made at the negotiating table. The question is whether or not the Iranians are serious about actually signing this understanding and if it would lead to a firm, broader agreement in the future. Within the reporting that we're reviewing this morning is a 30-day window to reach that broader understanding. Now, the White House has not commented on this report, but this could be one of the reasons why the president is pulling back, at least on Project Freedom right now, again, to allow the Iranians to come to the negotiating table and reach this deal in the days ahead.
So right away, all the lefties would say, oh, Trump chickened out, Trump folded, blah, blah, blah. There's so much that they're not including there or excluding. And nobody is putting a fact out that this character right here, yesterday, he went to Beijing. This report was from a couple of days ago, where he was heading to China. He got to China. We're getting ready to thump you all. Trump is going to go to China himself in less than 2 weeks. Did you hear CNN talking about this? Did you hear any of them talking about it? The Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will visit Beijing on May 5th. That was today. And don't you know, the very same day, Trump says, okay, we might have something, so we're going to ease off on tensions. Because what do you think China's going to tell him? Because if China screws around, Trump's not going to fool with them either. He had talks with the counterpart Wang Yi, focusing on bilateral ties and regional international developments. The visit comes as U.S.-Iran tensions escalate in the Strait of Hormuz, with both sides trading fire and negotiations for a permanent ceasefire with deadlock. China told them, you better work something out. And I mean now. And there's a correction. It wasn't 6 of these little mosquito boats. It was 7 of them. And here's somebody, Tom Sharp. I know the Strait of Hormuz well. Opening it will be an almighty struggle. Who the hell's Tom Sharp with the Telegraph? Doesn't know his rear end from third base. That's what I put in the comments. Tom Sharp is dull. What is needed for the Iranians to cease firing ship? They might do it if battered hard enough, difficult even for the U.S., or as part of a negotiated deal, seemingly unlikely in the near future. What the hell do you know about it, Tom Sharp? And they ought to keep that overseas crap where you got to go find it on Telegram or something like that. We don't need it on a household app. A bunch of foreign gibberish coming through. Oh, here's this other idiot. Speaking of foreign gibberish, here he is again. Occupy Democrats. He's the only one I saw posting today. Anwar Khalim official. The world would be better without them? Question mark, question mark. Oh, like that's supposed to save you? Oh, I was asking a question. I didn't make the statement. The world would be better off without them. Yeah, you did. So, Facebook getting sued, or Meta, or whatever the hell they call it, it's going to come around to these outfits that I'm talking about. They're going to get some DMs from these creeps. And it ain't going to be pretty. Hugh Hewitt analyzes a California governor race, gubernatorial race. I hadn't seen him in a while, or maybe I haven't been watching enough, but you all remember Hugh Hewitt? I remember him a little bit. But let's see what he's at. His analysis. Is he he's on Fox News? I don't know. Is he a good guy, bad guy, or what? How come he's popping up? He kind of looks like Anderson Cooper's step-uncle. Wouldn't you say? Or is it just the glasses? But, I don't know. He could be a nice guy. I don't know.
Doing great. Thank you. I'm sure you watched it. What did you think about it? Do you agree with that analysis that Xavier Becerra is probably the safest, more vanilla, middle-of-the-road candidate?
Becerra is a former congressman, attorney general, and he was HHS secretary during COVID. So it's very hard to read these polls in California. There are 61 names on the ballot. 7 were on the stage last night. Steve Hilton's going to make it to the runoff. It's a jungle primary. Doesn't matter what your party is. Steve Hilton's ahead. Becerra, Steyer, Tom Steyer, the billionaire, and Katie Porter, the former congressman, are second, third, and fourth. Becerra is bland. Tom Steyer is unlikable. Katie Porter is toxic. And Tom Steyer has spent about $130 million. The next closest is Marty Mahan, $10 million. So here's the reality. We get to June 2nd, which is election day, but it's actually election season. We won't know for 2 or 3 weeks after the end of voting, which has already begun, because it's a mail-out voting. Voting harvesting is allowed. It's a complete collapsed system, almost a failed state in some places like Los Angeles County with 100,000 homeless people in it. And so it takes forever to figure out who number 2 is going to be. Becerra is bland, and that kind of helps him when you're running against someone as unlikable as Tom Steyer. But Tom Steyer has picked up the endorsement of the California Teachers Association and the Service Employees International Union. So big union money, and Tom Steyer's money against Becerra's sort of been around forever blandness. We'll see. But Steve Hilton is the class of the pack.
Okay, yeah, and you're right. The jungle primary, which is on June 2nd, it looks like it probably will be Steve Hilton and Becerra. There's also Chad Bianco, the other Republican, who is the Riverside County Sheriff. He's running. But it was interesting to see how Katie Porter, she's now leaning into that viral moment. Remember when she was yelling at her staffer to get out of her shot back in 2021? Here she is with an ad where she's leaning into that, and then we'll play also what happened a few years ago when she was yelling at the staffer. Watch this.
Now, could you guys please get out of my shot? And the state could lose get out of my shot. You also were in my shot before that.
Do you think that was a good idea? Because a lot of people might have forgotten about that.
It's a Hail Mary pass. I do not think it was a good idea. Congresswoman Porter, who used to represent me when I lived in California until 2016, she's unlikable in the extreme, and she has a reputation for being extraordinarily temperamental. She's a law professor like I am, but she's at UCI, I'm at Chapman, so we don't work together. But I've heard she's a very unlikable person like Tom Steyer. Javier Becerra is probably going to win second just by default, but Chad Bianco, got to keep an eye on. Now, Katie Porter, I think it's a bad idea to bring back what everyone remembers about her.
Hugh, you came.
He seemed like a good guy. Yeah, Katie Porter, nobody likes you. But the Republicans better start rowing one boat. One boat. Or they'll screw it up. They got a plum chance, a prime chance. They better pick somebody. You know, I'm just saying. I know that Bianca guy is the one that got those that election information and ballots. Let's see what this one is. I got a Katie Porter clip where she says the illegals are what helps them get votes. CARE, California leader, Zahra Bilou. No, that's who I played earlier. She advised her followers that they can express hatred against Jews in private, but should not write "I hate all Zionists" on their social media profiles in order to be strategic. We already saw you crazy nut. What is a Katie Porter clip? I don't know. Let me see. What's this one? Let's see what this clip is.
I got to ask you, what is...
That's a ad Marco Rubio made about his answer to a question I already played. I'm going to save that for an opening clip. He wants to have a country. Well, maybe I'll save it to the end. Here's Van Jones. You know, he's crying about Fetterman supposedly leaving the party. I mean, fine. If he comes over, fine. But you know what? I don't trust him. He's just a brand new rhino. That's all he's going to be. We can use him. But better off just get rid of him because he's a communist. Van Jones is a communist too. But, leopards don't change their spots. And he is singing our song right now, but he's also acted like he wants to do blanket amnesty for tens of millions. And why the hell do we want to invite that into our party? Just a brand Van Jones.
Look, I think he is a moderate Democrat, and that should not be illegal in this party. My God, you have to agree on 100% of the Berkeley, California agenda to be a Democrat? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it just shows you how nutty things have gotten that somebody who wants to stick up for Israel and doesn't want an open border somehow now has to be a Republican. That's completely insane.
Well, he's going to be a rhino. If they let him become a member of the party, he's just going to be a pain in the butt. In an important seat in Pennsylvania, we can get a real Republican in Pennsylvania when all this crap gets straightened out, which is happening right now. Sweet home Alabama. Red State launches last-second push to draw 7-0 map before midterms. Alabama Republicans are making a late push to position the state for a potential 7-0 GOP sweep of its U.S. House seats. Did you see what happened in Indiana to every daggone Republican that went against Trump on redistricting? They got wiped out. Every one of them. There's one maybe that, but no. They're finished. They're finished, and we got going in there. So I go ahead and mention this. Ted Turner corked off. And like I said, Trump said, I'll read what he said. Good things about it. I mean, can't speak ill of the dead, they say. I was thinking about a thumbnail with his face, and next to that, the Georgia Guidestone's blowing up. But anyway, Ted Turner, the media visionary who founded CNN and transformed global television news, died at the age of 87. Turner revolutionized broadcasting. He did, with the launch of the world's first 24-hour news network, changing how audiences consumed breaking news across the globe. Beyond media, he was a philanthropist and founder of the United Nations Foundation. Thanks a lot, Ted. An environmental advocate, namely a global warming cultist, and a key figure in wildlife conservation in the United States. Was he also a population control freak? Named Time's Man of the Year in 91, he described CNN as the greatest achievement of his life. Well, as Trump said, according to Trump, he didn't care for the direction it took. Let me see if this is something from, this is his Citizens Free Press. Oh my gosh. Why did I pick this? Top Chicago Democrat gets locked up for a DUI, makes fun of an Asian police officer's penis, rhymes with Judge Zenas, and tried to pressure an ER doctor who treated her not to testify. Tampering with witnesses? Samantha Steele, who represents Chicago's District 2, is on trial over a misdemeanor DUI charge tied to a November 24 arrest. So she's on trial now. Body camera video shown in court reportedly captured Steele refusing a field sobriety test before being arrested. Police say she later requested an ambulance after initially agreeing to take the test. Officer Danny Wu testified that Steele insulted him at the hospital and told him, "You have a small Judge Zenas." The trial is expected to last 2 days. So I guess this is I guess this is what the Ingram report was about. I don't know. Let me see. Nah, this must be something. I have a brief report on it, but let's see what this is.
The president is posting on Truth Social just moments ago that he is now suspending Project Freedom for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement that they're working on can be finalized and signed. He says they've made significant progress with Iran. We've heard this before. A couple Fridays ago, we thought that things were moving in the right direction. We're going to get the nuclear material out, but this maybe is something new, progress.
Maybe. It's hard to know because it's hard to know who we're dealing with in Iran. You have civilian leadership, typically figureheads, not actually the people who call the shots. You have the military, the IRGC. These are the bitter dead enders.
Well, they're talking to someone, Mr. Ambassador. Who the hell are they talking to? Sorry, but
they're talking to someone, but the real question is who's actually calling the shots. But he's incapacitated. The IRGC might be making a play to take over more responsibility for making these sorts of decisions. So I think what the president is doing by calling a pause now is giving the Iranians some space to figure it out themselves. Are they serious about talks? And if they're not, we can always resume the operation. If they are, maybe this creates a window of opportunity to actually get to a deal.
Well, I don't know which article was about the crazy broad who got a DUI. If I come across it, I'll come across it. But 2-day trial. Well, we'll see what happens to her. I'm sure Officer Wu would like to see her get in some trouble. Remember I showed you the girls in the burqa and all the stuff in Texas? Make sure you dress modestly. We're having our Muslim-only girls gathering, teach everybody how to wear burqas. Well, Governor Abbott threatened grants over a Muslim-only event. Over $500,000 is going to be withheld. If they don't make it, everybody can come, or just stop the damn thing altogether. So, yeah. Movement on that. Here is, I didn't play. Well, it's about, I didn't play these clips. I didn't watch this video either, but at least it's getting attention so people can really realize how sick these individuals are and what kind of a sick school system we have that allows this. Sick TikTok trend shocks Sky News host. And this is where they play the last few minutes or 10 seconds of Charlie Kirk talking, and you hear the crack of the rifle. They act like they've been struck and bend over. And when they stand back up, they're dressed in their prom clothes and laughing. That's what they do. Mock Charlie Kirk. So, yeah, to that guy that I just read his comment to me, where he's talking about Plantier and all these other, yeah, I hope they do. Like I said the other night, higher right. Anybody participating in that kind of stuff does not deserve to be in a position of public trust ever. And if I had a private company, I would not want anybody like that working for me. And I should be able to see this type of stuff. But anyway, here is Trump talking about Ted Turner. One of the greatest of all time has just died. He founded CNN, sold it, and was personally devastated by the deal because the new ownership took CNN, his baby, and destroyed it. It became woke and everything that he is not all about. Maybe the new buyers, wonderful people, will be able to bring back his former credibility and glory. Regardless, however, one of the greats of broadcast history and a friend of mine, whenever I needed him, he was there, always willing to fight for a good cause. President Donald J. Trump. Now, yeah, he was married to Hanoi Jane, but he got rid of her. That wasn't cheap. And wasn't he involved in put a lot of money in? You had Vince McMahon doing one wrestling company, and Ted Turner started his own, didn't he? So he liked that wrestling, he called it, wrestling. And, so maybe he wasn't behind Georgia Guidestones. Nobody's ever proved it. I don't know. Rest in peace, and let's see what happens to CNN. Get a load of this. Tuesday's CBS mornings fawned over the black trans quadriplegic with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair, Ariana Rose Phillip, appearing at the Met Gala, calling it quite a moment. Stunning in black and very cool, very cool. CBS also, where Catherine Herridge used to work, also touted a Met Gala Costume Institute exhibit featuring mannequins that included pregnant bodies and trans bodies. So apparently they wouldn't say the word woman. Where is the, this is one black screen. This might be it right here.
I gotta ask you.
No, hold on, I'll find it. You get to see for yourself. CBS News is doing the Wokey doke crapiola.
Let's talk about modeling.
That ain't it either. Oh, this is CBS. Maybe it is. Let's see.
And musician Ariana Rose Phillip, who celebrated her first gala. Phillip, who has quadriplegic cerebral palsy, is recognized as the first black transgender and physically disabled model to sign with a major agency. She said, "Girls, I've made it."
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Quite
cool.
a moment.
Stunning in all black. So Phillip was one of the human models for mannequins at this year's popular Met Gala Costume Institute exhibit. The exhibit is called Costume Art, includes a handful of mannequins with larger bodies, bodies in wheelchairs, pregnant bodies, trans bodies, and bodies with missing limbs. Costume Institute curator Andrew Bolton says the goal of this year's exhibit is to reclaim the body. Very cool.
Man. No comment. No comment. Here's a, let's see what this is. Donald Trump posted this. Speaking of Indiana, Indy Star. So far, Tuesday night, 5 President Donald Trump endorsed state house candidates ousted state lawmakers. Now it's up to 7. Am I right about that, folks? Senator Jim Banks celebrated the news by saying that President Trump is the single most popular Republican among Hoosier voters. Well, it's too late to redistrict, though. But at least we're getting rid of the bums. Throw the bums out. That's the old campaign slogan. I was told many years ago, but my friend told me don't ever use it. So anyway, I got a notification from that somebody shared my video on Rumble. Hey, that's weird. Hello, my Rumble viewers. Okay. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and a follow. Appreciate you watching. Everyone in Indiana politics should have learned an important lesson today. President Trump is the single most popular Republican among Hoosier voters. Indiana is a conservative state, and we deserve conservatives in our state Senate who have a pulse on Republican voters. Yeah, it was a wipeout. None of them made it, and that's a good thing. Here's Donald Trump again, posted today. White House ballroom is going up rapidly on the east side of the White House. The only reason the cost has changed is because after deep-rooted studies, it is approximately twice the size and a far higher quality than the original proposal, which would not have been and even future inaugurations. The original price was $200 million. The double size, highest quality, completed project will be something less than $400 million. It will be magnificent, safe, and secure. This was a necessary change. It was done long ago, but the fake news failed to report it, trying to make it look like there was a cost overrun. Actually, it's coming in ahead of schedule and under budget. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, but the lefties still got to go cuckoo over it, and they use the same worn-out pictures over and over again. I got to find that one that... Here he is. Here he is. I put his picture up the other day. Aaron Parnas. Here's a picture he uses to get his million subscribers. A picture that's how old? This is probably when Obama tore down what he needed to tear down for his basketball court. Who the hell knows? But they go crazy like they give a damn. Toxic debris from Trump's White House project was dumped onto a public golf course. Testing found lead, chromium, and other hazardous chemicals in the soil. This wasn't a small amount. Tens of thousands of cubic yards. Now it's facing legal challenges and people are demanding answers. Subscribe for more. Yeah. How about that Prius you drive with lithium batteries that's going to end up in the damn dump? You don't care about that. Millions and millions and millions of those things. What do you think they do with construction debris, Aaron Parnas? Well, you know, anything they can find to piss and moan about, they're going to do it. And, you know, these judges that entertain it, we just have to make a list, check it twice. And when it's time to go, you got to go. Based upon the requests of Pakistan and other countries. What do you think he meant by other countries? We know. China, but he's not bringing it up right now. It's too sensitive. He's getting ready to go over there. If they play their cards right. The tremendous military success we've had during the campaign against the country of Iran, additionally thanks to the great progress made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran. That's a big statement there. We have mutually agreed, while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized. And what will happen if they don't finalize it? Who's the first one to put it out? Trump says if an agreement isn't reached with Iran, the bombing starts. He knows China's listening. He knows. Pakistan, all of them are watching every word he says. If they don't agree to a deal after he paused guiding vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, bombing starts. So people say he's given them a week. I don't know. We shall see. Here you go. Ha ha ha. White House put this up. Trump dance training on the South Lawn. I bet those kids are having a blast. Those are memories they'll have for forever, right? And speaking of that, here's a little girl. Trump gave her some advice. That's what the headline said. Gave her some lifetime advice. Or let me find it. And I'm sure that's something, a memory she'll treasure for a long time. Let me find it. Here she is. Oh, it's a he. No, it's a she. Let me see. He had a lot of youngins around him. Grandpa Trump. You know, he's got a lot of experience talking to little kids.
How about you? What sport do you play?
I play volleyball, and in the summer I'm trying to get into soccer.
Well, and with your height, do you smash the ball, the volleyball? Do you get up high? Can you jump high?
Not very.
Soccer might be better. I don't want to be. I'm just looking. I think she'd be a great soccer player.
Did you all watch that? The presidential fitness test is back on. I mean, you know, we got kids with marshmallow arms, wet noodle arms. So, let me put this up real quick. What will they have on Comey? You tell me if you think I'm crazy. Hi, Gary. How you doing? What will they have on Comey besides seashells? I think they're going to have electronic communications. Remember this. Do you think this will be presented in court? You remember this picture? An interview after he got fired? Yeah, John Candy was in a lot of movies. You know, when you sit and think about it, he had a prodigious amount of work. It's a shame. Yeah, you know, He lost his life so young. Minister Sue, I hope your hand gets better too. I saw earlier in the chats while I was pontificating. Who's angry? I'm angry all the time. Nah, I'm just kidding. Oh, was my broadcast breaking up a little bit? Somebody said how many of you all remember this picture, folks? Yeah, Miss Mendersu remembers. He was talking about, well, he also said some comments around this time during interviews that he didn't want anything bad to happen to Trump's kids. Something like that. But he had these supposed Star Wars toys set up, what a lot of people said looked like a certain event. A certain event. And, it's a stretch. But when you're posing for a magazine picture or, why would you have it set up like that? A lot of people are saying it's Dealey Plaza, where Kennedy got it, right? No. There's one orange vehicle there, the fourth one away from his foot in that outside lineup. And people were reading all kinds of stuff into this. But his book was about subliminal messaging and how to use the media to disrupt people's psychology or to get people to agree with you, to manipulate public attitudes. So we shall see. Here's Maria Bartiromo about Ted Turner. So you had Trump say good things about him, and Maria Bartiromo also was complimentary. The end of an era. My first job in TV was at Ted Turner's CNN, which of course was completely different than it was today. So she, not really a compliment, but she didn't go out of her way to say anything bad about him. Pioneer of cable news, TV news, dies at 87. Oh, really? Somebody read his book and said it was terrible. Well, those books have them. They don't sell. They claim they sell them, and then they take them to the dump. Just money laundering. Money laundering. I told you where I found a whole bunch of them. Boxes full of those damn. So anyway, Ilhan Omar. She ducked out of a subpoena. Or they voted not to subpoena her. It was like a 5-3 vote, I believe. And I'm wondering if they didn't do that on purpose. Because now the only thing they can do is launch a federal investigation. If they do a subpoena and have to sit around committees and schedule this and schedule that, and she lawyers up, she doesn't talk, we wait 2 months, then she testifies or doesn't testify, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Or maybe they think they're being slick and protecting her and not allowing the state Senate fraud prevention agency to subpoena her. Maybe they think they're being slick. But I think they're really, whether they know or not, given permission for the feds to step in with an investigation. But here's how it went down.
We have reached out to Representative Ilhan Omar on multiple occasions, inviting her to testify and inviting and requesting documents that appeared in the trial exhibit of the U.S. versus Amy Bach. Was named in multiple trial exhibits, and we have endeavored in multiple ways to get access to that because, as everyone knows, Representative Omar had some role, whether inadvertent or not. She passed the Meals Act in March of 2020, and that took the guardrails off the federal school nutrition program, which created the conditions for Feeding Our Future. And so we invited her to testify about the law she passed. We invited her to testify and talk about the documents that are listed in the court case, and she has never responded to our multiple inquiries. So then we sent a letter after the hearing 2 weeks ago saying that we would like her to respond with those court exhibits by today, May 5th. Once again, she has not responded in any way to our inquiries. And so the only tool left for us as a committee, if we want to get these documents, is to issue a subpoena. We have never done this, members, in the history of this committee. We have never done this in the history of this body except for ethics investigations, and I don't do it lightly. But Representative Omar is a public servant. She had a direct involvement in creating the conditions for Feeding Our Future, and as a representative of Minnesota, I believe it's important for the taxpayers to understand the role she played and understand the role her office played in communicating with the defendants in this case. So, under our rules, the committee is permitted by a 2/3 vote to request the issuance of a subpoena in the conduct of any investigation or activity or series of investigations or activities within the jurisdiction of the committee. Our nonpartisan staff has drafted the subpoena, which was in your packets. And with that, we would like to have a vote on subpoenaing Representative Omar for the documents in question as outlined in our letter dated April 22nd and is outlined in the subpoena which is before you. Is there any discussion on the order of business to issue a subpoena? Yes, Representative.
Question. I gather this is maybe a motion that you're making. It seems like I can see some nodding from some of the GOP members, but I just don't know procedurally what's. Just first want to verify that.
Yes, so it's a motion for the committee to issue a subpoena to Representative Ilhan Omar regarding the items in the subpoena which are in your packet.
And then.
So it's referenced here.
And then, Madam Chair, just a few questions for you, I guess, as the make.
Chair Robbins.
Aye.
Vice Chair Anderson.
Aye.
Lead Pinto.
No.
Representative Altendorf.
Aye.
Representative Elkins.
No.
Representative Greenman.
No.
Representative Nash. Aye. Representative Schultz.
Aye.
The vote is 5 in favor, 3 against. The subpoena, the motion fails and the subpoena will not be issued. But I will continue to try to reach out to Representative Omar.
So I hope the dopey taxpayers see that tens of billions of dollars can get stolen right from under your nose and they won't even issue a flippin' subpoena. Every one of them should be thrown the hell out. Oh, there's my QR code. Ha, ha, ha. I put up my QR code for buy me a coffee. Now put a link in the description. I mean, the chats. I keep saying description. At the 147 mark for anybody that wants to help support the channel. I got myself all discombobulated. And by the way, folks, say a prayer for Dolly Parton. She put out a statement that she had good news and bad news. But she canceled her engagements, okay? Upcoming engagements. Keep cheering her on. Dolly Parton, says she has some good news and bad news regarding her health. But she's, delayed her engagements. And talk is that it's not going good. So, keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She's an American icon. She's an American icon. Oh, wow. Everybody putting boom. Kaboom. Hi, Sparky. Who endorsed? Oh, okay. Yeah. Do that. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you haven't. Go ahead and give me one. When you leave the chat, make sure you give me a thumbs up. So I'm going to play. I tell you what, this press conference by Marco Rubio, I think put him in a position to really be a player in the next presidential election, if it's not going to be Donald J. Trump. Right, folks? So, we'll see what they got figured out for that. Because I'm seeing comments, especially from our friend Gary, that this is a show, that we're seeing things that some things are predetermined, right? But remember, these people are evil, insidious, and dangerous. We got to keep our guard up, don't be relaxed. Eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. So I will play what Rubio did was he took part of his press conference and made a nice little clip out of it, folks. So I'm going to play that for you. And he got some visuals with it. I know you'll enjoy it. But what I always say, I say thank you for spending your precious time with me. And I'll be going live. I'll be going live tomorrow. So if you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. So you're not subscribed. Well, what's going on? Why not? So anyway, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the help on Buy Me a Coffee. And I'll be seeing you soon. Enjoy this clip. This is Mountain Man. Over and out.
What is your hope for America at a time such as this?
My hope for America? My hope for America is what it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share. We want it to continue to be the place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything. Where you're not limited by the circumstances of your birth, by the color of your skin, by your ethnicity, but frankly, it's a place where you are able to overcome challenges and achieve your full potential. I think that should be the goal of every country in the world. But I think in the U.S., we're not perfect. Our history is not one of perfection, but it's still better than anybody else's history. And ours is a story of perpetual improvement. Each generation has left the next generation of Americans freer, more prosperous, safer, and that is our goal as well. And as we come upon this 250-year anniversary, I think we have a lot to learn and be proud of in our history. It is one of perpetual and continuous improvement, where each generation has done its part to bring us closer to fulfilling the vision that the founders of this country had upon its founding.